I want to talk about tough scenarios that I've run into and maybe how you have to handle them. So, two scenarios I just had this past week that I've run into, and I want to tell you what happened and if it happens to you, how to deal with it. So, scenario number one, I had a client call me, did a mortgage for them a few years ago, and he called me and said, "Steven, I lost my job today. What do I do?" Now, we all know that, so married, kids, the whole bit. We all know that most households need two incomes to be able to afford a mortgage and gas and life and everything. And my first comment, because his first question to me was, "Can I skip payments?" And I said, "Yeah, the lender that you have allows one monthly payment to be skipped." But I said to him, "Call up the lender. Be straight up. I lost my job. I'm in a field where I can definitely find another job. I want my 1 month skip payment. I'm being upfront with you right now. I've never missed a payment. I've got great credit. I need some help. Do I have an option to maybe skip 2 months, 3 months?" I would say get in front of it. Let them know. And if they say no, take your 1 months in this case, take your 1 month skip payment, and then you can strategize. At least then you know what you're up against. Don't wait. And I know it's tough. It's tough to call and say, "Hey, I lost my job." But that's happening, right? All the things I talked about at the beginning of the podcast with inflation and expenses, that's another thing. Businesses will have to cut back, right? If we're not selling, so people aren't buying, and we can't spend money to grow business. It's very simple. Businesses are going to have this issue. And then you throw on top of that the AI thing going on. A lot of employment and jobs are going to be replaced by AI, or automation will be replacing jobs as well. So my comment is on that, get ahead of it. Okay, don't let it linger because it's stressful. It's not good. The other scenario I've run into a couple of times. Clients are in a certain situation. Uh, I had one where there was a cohabitation situation. Best friend bought a house a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, actually. And now they want to sell. They've met somebody special, each one of them. They want to move on. Well, the mortgage is larger than the house value. They're underwater before selling. They're underwater quite a bit, and they don't have the cash to cover it. So remember, if you sell a house and you don't have enough equity in the home to cover your debts, realtor fees, all the other stuff that comes up, well, you technically can't sell the house. You're in default. It's not, if default's the right term, but you can't sell your house. So in this case, and that was one case, and the other was just a family that wanted to move, but they couldn't. They were underwater as well. Or they were break even. They were break even. So in this case, if your house is quote underwater, so the debt obligation against the asset is higher than the value of the asset, two options, really. Keep the house, ride it out. If you're making your payments, the bank's not going to care. They're making interest off you. They could care less. Now, if you go to refinance or whatever, then yeah, they're going to care because they can't give you more money against a depreciating or an asset that's dropping in value. Renewal, they're not going to care. As long as you haven't missed any mortgage payments and you're in good standing, they're not going to care what the value of the house is. They don't want your house. I joke with clients, the bank wants to bleed you dry and collect interest off you nonstop. So they're not going to stop you from making payments. The other thing you could do, which I'm not saying you should do this necessarily, but if you've got money saved up to buy another home, you could rent out your home that you're in right now and then buy another one, and you can go less than 20% down on the second home as long as you can afford it. Now, I'm not saying run out and do that because I think you have to be okay with being a landlord, having a tenant. You become a freaking landlord. So I'm not saying you got to do it that way. I'm not there. It's just that's another option. if you gotta move on with your life and you have the money saved up and it makes sense, again, get advice from a freaking professional, right? Don't let someone at a bank or whatever just say, "Oh, it's a great idea, go for it." No. Here are the things you need to do to prep and make sure it's the right thing for you. And you need a strategy here, okay? Are we going to keep this house? How long are we going to keep it? Because here's the thing in Ontario, anyway, you move a tenant into that property, you can't get them out. I know there's ways to try, but good luck.